since we know that you have been in this business for too long and you have helped a lot of home buyers. So there's one thing that I want to ask you, that since I remember we had a similar grant last year as well, and we had a webinar on that as well. So what kind of impact have you seen of this program on the families that you have helped?
So I can give you a recent example where I'm trying currently. I just literally right on the, I remember the borrower was waiting for 2025 to hit, and we got him approved first week of Jan. And as we speak, he's hunting to find a home within that budget. The good news is, he qualifies for the $25,000 grant. The not so good news is that he has to be able to find a house within his budget that he can qualify. So, and last year we were able to help a family. They were a family of 5, and he had less than $6,000 or $7,000. This house was particularly in Katy, Texas. Katy is next to Houston, Texas, and we were able to get the borrower. At that time, the grant was maximum $15,000. So we were able to get him all the amount he qualified for it. And after the closing, he was really, really happy that, because the step is very simple. Once you get approved, we will check your income one more time before the closing. But if you get approved, you get approved. People always think that, oh, there'll be a surprise, there'll be something coming up, there's some exuberant fees involved. No such thing. It's all black and white.
So to all the listeners, the next story could be yours if you reach out to Hussein in time. So reminding you again, you can drop all your questions in the chat box or reach out to us. So moving on, now let's talk about the eligibility criteria. So Hussein, who qualifies for this grant, and could you walk us through the key requirements of this?
The most important thing, like I said, you have to be a first-time home buyer. We look at the average median income, 80% of the average median income of the county you are living in. And you can go to there's a website. I have a link where we put in a family of 4 making $78,000, Dallas County, they qualify. I just did it before I came on the show. So and the thing is, clients, borrowers have to remember, it is not the income just of the borrowers. We are going to look at the household income, even if they are not our borrower. What that means is, let's say it's husband and wife, 2 kids, and your in-laws are staying with you, receiving Social Security income. We will have to count their income also, even though they are not our borrowers. So as long as your family median income is 80% or below of that particular county. So if the median income is $100,000 for family of 4, your income has to be 80,000 or below. You qualify for the grant. So we make you find some affidavits to make sure there's no other additional income. And the other requirement is you have to be a first-time home buyer. The third requirement is you have to contribute $500 of your own funds. $500 of your own funds towards the transaction. You can use this $25,000 in Texas, $25,000 towards down payment, closing cost, escrows, as long as you are bringing in $500. But let's say the lender qualifies you for a loan, and you have to pay off some of your credit cards or some of your car payment. That won't be counted towards that $500 contribution, and that $25,000 cannot be counted towards paying off those credit cards. You can only use this grant for down payment, closing cost, and escrows.
So I think you have explained the eligibility criteria pretty well and cleared any misconceptions that people might have. Let's discuss the process. So if how does someone apply for this assistance, and how can Dream Home Mortgage particularly help them in every step?
Can you please repeat your question, ma'am?
I'm asking you that the stepwise process, right? Let's walk people through the steps. If they want to qualify for this, what is the first step they need to take? If they approach you, how can Dream Home Mortgage help them?
First of all, they need to send us an email to info at dreamhomemortgage.com. We'll send them the link to fill out the application, submit the documentation. Like I said, this current borrower I'm working with, we got him approved. He sent me his W-2s, pay stubs, all income-related documents, all asset, meaning bank statements. He submitted those. Once you submit that, we will qualify you. We will pull your credit. We qualify you for the loan. And once you're qualified for the loan, we look at your eligibility for this grant. And we submit it. We get an answer within 48 to 72 hours. Maximum I have seen is 3 to 4 days, max. So it's a simultaneous process while we are getting you pre-approved for the loan. And once you tell us, in fact, I sometimes tell this. I, in fact, tell borrowers, hey, you qualify for this grant. Do you even want to try it? And most of them, the answer is yes. As long as you're a first-time home buyer or you have not owned a home in last 3 years. I just want to confirm that how I have been told 3 years, but I didn't double check it. But if you're a first-time home buyer buying a primary residence, definitely you don't have to worry about it. The only other thing I want to be make sure borrowers realize is that if you are getting a co-signer to qualify for a loan, if you are going to bring a co-signer to qualify for the loan who's not going to be living in this house, then you don't qualify for this grant.
All right, again, that was one important tip. Can you please repeat it for all the listeners so that they understand this?
So basically, if you, let's say you qualify based on your income, again, I'm going to go to this borrower that I'm dealing with right now. So he's qualified based on his income for the grant. But with his income, he cannot go over $260,000 house, which people in Dallas, in Texas, it's very hard to find. It's in certain pockets only. So now he has to buy a house for under $260,000. Now, let's say he calls me tomorrow and he says, you know what, I'm in love with this house. My sister, my uncle, my brother-in-law is ready to co-sign for me, but this house is $350,000. Great, no problem. But now you don't qualify for the grant. You'll qualify to buy the house, but now you don't qualify for the grant because you have a non-occupant co-borrower. So you won't qualify for the grant if you have a non-occupant co-borrower co-signing for you.
All right. Thank you for clarifying this. We already have questions pouring in the chat box. And there's one thing that I would like to clarify. So, sir, this assistance is only for Texas, right? Because there is a question that says about the LA fire. So is there any grant available for them?
Okay. To be very transparent, since our head office is in Texas, we can only do loans in Texas and 1 or 2 loans out of Texas in certain states. There are 4 or 5, there are altogether 5 states, but I can only do in Texas and some parts of Oklahoma. But there are 3 other states. I can look it up and let you guys know shortly. But Texas and Oklahoma, and then few other states, I would have to connect you with a local bank over there who participates in this program. There are two requirements. They have to have an office in that particular state where you live, and they will have to be participating in this program. So all the banks don't participate in this program. Now, I had another question come up by another borrower, so I just want to share that. A lot of people think that if you are applying for this grant to buy a house, you cannot get any other down payment assistance, which is not true.
Right. Okay,
so
that's not true.
Which is not true.
Right.
So you can get the $25,000 grant, and if, of course, we'll require the documents for the down payment assistance. What is their lien position? There are some requirements, but overall, you can also get additional down payment assistance plus qualify for this grant. So it's icing on the cake.
Yeah. Okay, that was good to hear. Okay, so moving on, Hussein, what should the buyers expect during this whole application process? Are there any tips you'd like to share for them?
I always say the 3 important acronym you have to remember. CIA.
Oh, you always scare me with these.
CIA. In the United States, when we hear the word CIA, we all are like, the mortgage industry also, CIA is like, so credit, income, and assets. But the good news is credit you can still work with. I have had clients where they had filed bankruptcy 3 years ago, and now they have built their credit. Their scores are back above 680, and they're buying a house with 3 to 5% down. So once you have your credit, you qualify your income, and then your down payment can be all down payment assistance, gift, whatever you want. But credit and income play a very important role, especially when you are buying your primary residence.
All right. So now we have the questions open for everyone. Please, if you have any questions, you can drop your questions in the chat box. And if you'd like to connect with us, you can connect with us. The information is there in the chat box as well. You can always call us at 972-245-5626, or you can email us at info@dreamhomemortgage.com. You can also book a free Calendly session for consultation with us through our website, www.dreamhomemortgage.com. So we're now... Yes.
I want to talk about repaying this grant. I saw some people asking me. I have been asked this several times, so I wanted to clarify this.
Sure.
Do you have to pay this money back? The answer is, if you live in the house for 5 years or more, no. Do you have to make the payments during the first 5 years? The answer is no. Only scenario where you have to pay it back if you turn this property into an investment property, or if you sell this house. So do you have to pay the entire 25,000? Again, the answer is no. They will prorate it. Let's say you sell elderly parents, whatever, you unfortunately going through a divorce, health issues, anything and everything like that. If you sell the house, they will prorate that. The $25,000, let's say you sell it in 3 years. I'm just giving you an example. Please don't hold me to it. Just giving you a quick example. Let's say you borrowed $25,000, and exactly after 3 years, you sell your house for whatever reason. So out of that $25,000, since you lived in the house for 3 years, ballpark, your $15,000, you out of that $25,000, you don't have to pay it back. I'm just taking big numbers. They have their own formula, but I'm just giving an example. Now $10,000, you will have to pay that back. Do you have to pay out of your pocket? No. When you sell the house, the title company will take the proceeds and send it back. So the good news is, as long as you live in this house for more than 5 years, you don't have to pay the grant back. While you are living in that house for the first 5 years, you don't have to make any payment towards this grant.
All right, that was one important information. Thanks for sharing this. Now we are opening the floor to your questions, and if you have anything on your mind, whether it's about eligibility or the grant process or home ownership in general, drop your questions in the chat box, and Hussein is here to provide you the expert answers. So moving on to the questions, I'm going to ask the questions, sir, that our participants are asking. So I think you have pretty much covered it, but they're asking that as a first-time home buyer, they have no idea where to begin. So what's the first step you would suggest?
First step is, if you are really asking me the first step, go to our website, www.dreamhomemortgage.com, submit a short application. Someone from my office will contact you within 24 to 48 hours, and then we'll start the process. Again, what are the requirements? Minimum credit score in most of the cases have to be at least 580 if you can qualify for the FHA loan. $500 for the down payment has to come from your own funds. If again, FHA loan, your debt to income ratio has to be below 56.99%, the back end ratio. The housing ratio has to be below 46.9%. On conventional loan, your debt to income ratio has to be below 45% in most of the cases. So these are the basic requirements. But how much money has to come from you? That question has been asked me several times, so I keep repeating it. First, $500 or $500 has to come from you. Even if you need altogether $24,000, we will give you the $23,500. Once you qualify, you'll get the grant for $23,500. but the other $500 has to come from you.
All right. Sir, is there any sort of interest on this grant? Because there's a question here. They're asking that how much is the interest for this grant?
As long as you live in the house for 5 years, they forgive the loan, or you have to pay it back if you sell it within 5 years.
Okay, so there's another question. The question goes as, how does this grant integrate with existing Texas state home buyer assistance programs?
Yes, it does. That's what I was saying, that you can qualify. You have to qualify for both the programs separately, but I'm laughing because there's a question about what's the catch for free money. But anyway, I'll address that for sure. But to answer, you can qualify for a down payment assistance and for a grant. You'll have to qualify for both the programs, but at the closing table, they will audit and re-audit your file. You cannot walk away with any money in your hand. Like, you got a grant for $25,000, you got a down payment assistance for $10,000, but you're only using $30,000 of those money to buy the house, down payment, closing cost. You cannot walk away with that $5,000 or even $500 or even $200. You have to use all of those funds towards closing cost, down payment, and escrow money. I just want to make that very, very clear. I had a question that I just saw a question. Sorry, Nagin, I'm going to jump into that because I want people to understand. There is no catch.
Yeah, because it seems like too good to be true kind of situation. That is why I'm wondering.
Exactly. After that, if you want to take me for lunch, I'm okay with that. But I'm just kidding. Anyway, looking at my size, you know, I love to eat. So, but jokes apart, there is no hidden cost, hidden charges. It's a grant. You qualify, you qualify. You don't qualify, you don't qualify. I don't make the rules. I follow them. If you have any question, you can set up a free consultation. You can send us an email, or you can send us, like Nagin said, you can go to our website. There's a Candidly website, and you can set up an appointment, Zoom call up through Zoom, and the consultation is absolutely free.
That's right. So moving on to the next question. Now, like settling this once for all, there's no catch. It is too good to be true, but this is an opportunity for you. So that is why we are here for you. Okay. Now moving on.
After yesterday's president-elect, anything is possible. So just everything is possible, and there is no geographical restriction in the state of Texas. You can buy it anywhere, everywhere, as long as it's a single-family home, and that fits the Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. It's a Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac requirement. It has to be your primary residence, and you can buy it anywhere in Texas.
And there's a question about the value of the home. That how much is the value should be for this grant?
What was the question, ma'am?
The question says that how much is the house value should be for this grant, this $25,000?
I just said that basically based on your income and then what liabilities you have. I have a current borrower, he can not qualify for more than $260,000 house based on his income. So now he's house hunting since last 2-3 weeks to find a house below $260,000. So depending on your income, what are the liabilities you have? Car payment, credit card payment, student loan. Because remember, you have to qualify for the mortgage and you have to qualify for the grant. So what's the use of getting the grant if you don't qualify for the home loan? So to qualify for a home loan, you will look at your credit, your income, your down payment, and your other liabilities. Car payment, minimum payment on credit card, minimum payment on student loan. Are you paying any child support? Are you receiving any child support? There are variable factors. So the house, how much you can qualify for, it will always depend on your income.
All right. Thank you for clarifying this. Let's move on to the next question. So the next question is about the Equity Act. They're asking that what is the current status and anticipated timeline for the down payment toward Equity Act?
Equity Act,
Yeah.
I have not heard of that. I'm so sorry. I'll have to do some research and get back to you guys, but I have no idea about the Equity Act. So
Sure.
I'm not going to.
So yeah, you can drop us this question at info@dreamhomemortgage.com, and we'll definitely get back to you with more details on this question.
I promise you, if you send me that question, I will try to follow up, do some research, and get back to you. But right now, if I don't have any information on that particular topic, I'm not going to make a comment on it.
Right. So, sir, since you were talking about Trump's presidency, so there are, for a while it has been going on that the interest rates are getting high. What is going to happen? So we have another question slightly related to it. They're saying that I've been thinking about buying a home for a while now, but I'm still on the fence because of these high interest rates. So what do you have to say about that?
Okay. So last 5-6 days, the bond, which has the 10-year yield, which has a direct impact on the interest rate, we have seen those rates coming down. Good news. But they're not still where we would like it to be. Since now we have President Trump in the office, we think the rumor on the street is that rates will start coming down. Now, those of you who are on the fence, I'm just specifically talking about these hot states, Texas, South Carolina, Florida, North Carolina. Whenever the rates starts dropping, the house prices starts going up. So if you are waiting for the interest rates to drop, you will be paying, again, this is my last 27 years experience. Whenever the rates start going down, the house prices will start going up. So I would rather pay a higher interest rate, and this is not a biased opinion, this is just simple math. I would rather buy a house with a higher interest rate if I can get a deal out there, because there are deals out there right now. It is definitely a buyer's market. Because why? My purchase price is always locked. I cannot change the price of the house, but I can always change the interest rate once the rates drop. So let's say those of you who think, yeah, Hussein is just saying because he's in this business. Okay, so be it. But let's say you have to pay $200 extra a month for next 2 years. Again, going back to the Dallas market, right now, the rates for 30-year fixed, 780 score, somewhere around 6.5, 6.75, right in that range. Now, a year later, the rates drop to, or 2 years later, let's say we have to wait for 2 years, and the rates drop to 5.5. Now, we all will refinance. Probably our payments will drop by another $200, $250. So you paid $6,000 more in interest. $250 a month times 24 months comes to around $6,000. But I bet you, if the house is in these 4 or 5 hot states, those prices that you can buy for $250 will go up to $270, $280. Again, I'm just sharing this based on my experience of last 27 years. So I would rather buy a house, if I'm on the fence, I'm ready to make that move. I would rather buy a house with the rates are higher compared to the price of the house being higher, because that price is locked. Your interest rate, you can always refinance. Make sense?
Perfectly. So if you are on the fence, I would say go with his instincts, because he has been in this business for a way long time to guide you better. So if you're on the fence, definitely you can schedule a detailed session, and then you will get more clarity than what do you exactly need to do. And there's never a bad time to get this process started. So moving on to the next question, sir. So the next question says how much you should have annual salary for this grant. Is there any such restriction?
No, restrictions are there. Every county, your income has to be 80% of the median income of that county. And the government, it's government release census. So I don't decide that. Dream Home does not decide that. The bank does not decide that. Every county, if you Google it, median income of Dallas County or Denton County or Fort Worth County, it will, and your income has to be 80% of that of the median income. Again, giving you a quick example, if the median income of that county is 100,000 for a family of 5, your income has to be 80,000 or below 80,000 to qualify for this grant.
All right. So the next question is about the properties. What type of properties qualify for this grant?
Single family, as long as it's your primary residence. It can be a warrantable condo. It can be a single family home, duplex. As long as you can find that in your price range, as it's your primary residence, you can qualify.
All right. The next question says that how do I apply for the grant and what documentation is required? I think we have explained it. So your next step is going to be to go to www.𝗓𝘁𝘁𝗶𝘀𝘁.com and schedule a meeting. And then you can find all the details there, and you can always email your questions at info@𝗓𝘁𝘁𝘁𝗶𝘀𝘁.com for any detailed consultation that you require. So that if you want to avail this opportunity, Hussein will be there to help you. Now, where can I apply?
Anytime the grant is available, as long as the grant is available. And again, this is all public record. I don't decide that. Let's say you apply for a grant and you qualify, and 20 days later, your friend calls me and says, now I want to qualify for the grant. My friend just got a house. He's into his home. Now I want to apply for the grant. If we run out of those funds, we will let you know what site it is, where it is available. You can go and check it. But as of right now, yes, when we checked it this morning, there was $7 million available under this program. $7 million. So, and remember, it's for 5 states, not just 1 state, under this particular.
All right. So there's one question that says that, is it for self-employed people too?
Yes, as long as your income is within that threshold. It's self-employed commission income, W-2 income. It can only qualify. You can only qualify under a Fannie Mae Freddie Mac program. Yes, I'm glad we asked this question. You cannot, if you are going for a portfolio loan, you won't be able to avail this program. So keep that in mind.
All right. So there's one question that you've already sort of answered. Is it a grant from the government?
It's not from a government. It's from a bank, but I think it's tied to the government. Yes.
All right. Any geographical restrictions?
No.
For using the grant within Texas?
There are 5 states, but at Dream Home under Brazos National Bank, we are an equal housing lender. So I just want to again address this. Dream Home is a subsidiary of Brazos National Bank, and we are an equal housing lender. My MLS is 364616. I just want to make sure everybody has that information. But we can do it in Texas and Oklahoma, some loans in Oklahoma, but primarily in Texas because our head office is in Texas. But this program covers 5 states altogether, including Texas and Oklahoma.
All right. So is there any maximum purchase price for homes to qualify for the grant?
Again, if we go through the calculation based on the median income, what we have seen is most of you guys, the house, especially in Texas, because our property taxes is on the higher side. What I have seen is anything over 350, usually people don't qualify because their income is higher than the median income. In our office, you'll be surprised, but I was just told while I was discussing this webinar with our vice president, just last week, someone didn't qualify because his median income was $1,000, just $1,000 a year, higher than what the threshold was.
Yeah.
So, and again, we don't control that. It's all public record. It's a median income of that county, but they will count your overtime, bonus income, receiving any social security income. So keep those things in mind.
All right. And what about the credit score? Is there any limit for that? Because people are asking that, or what about the credit limit? If it's
as long as you qualify for a mortgage, like 580 score, minimum 580 score, because FHA, most of our clients qualify under the 580, above 580 score. So if you qualify for a mortgage loan, you qualify for the grant. If you qualify, like I said, if the income is within that box.
All right. And there is another question that says, what specific provisions are there for the first-time homebuyer status? To
I'm
verify
sorry.
that, like you've said that they have to be a first-time homebuyer. So what is that criteria? How do they ascertain that they are the first-time homebuyer? Is that in a first-time homebuyer in a particular state? I think that is what they're trying to ask.
Again, whether you have to be owning, you've never owned a home ever in your life, or the last 3 years. I'm going to again double check and put it on my website about this. But to the best of my knowledge, that when I checked it last year, of course, the first-time home buyer who's never owned a home, never lived in his or her home, and or sold his home, uh, or not owned a home in the last 3 years.
All right.
This last part, I'm going to double check it. So I want to put a disclosure. I'm not 100% sure about this, but I will make sure and put that on my website.
All right. Are there any restrictions that are placed on the property after receiving this grant?
You can't rent it out. You can't convert it to an Airbnb for the next 5 years. If they find out, they will call the note, they will call the grant, and they have done it in the past. So I will request all of you guys applying for any grant, any down payment, don't try to pull a fast one. Just again, I'm just telling you what I would tell my family member. It's not worth it. It's just not worth it. And then you're not trying to, if you are trying to pull a fast one, plan to get it for a rental property, you are not being fair to those who actually need these funds to move into their own home, move into their family with their house. So you need to consider that also.
That's right. So there is one question. They're saying that if they want to connect with you directly to see the loan options, etc., that they qualify for, any location, I think they want to know your office location.
Our office is in Plano, 6005 West Park Boulevard, Plano, Texas. You can go Google our name, Dream Home Mortgage. Again, it's Dream Home Mortgage, 6005 West Park Boulevard, Plano, Texas, 75093. You can call me directly, 972-245 loan, 972-245-5626. Our toll-free number is, Nagin, can you help me with that? I think
it's 972-245-5626.
No, the toll-free number is 877.
We're going to add that as well in the chat box for you later. So you can approach us, and if you want to visit, then you can get the precise location from Google as well. The map is available there. The location is available there. All right. So,
and once again, the consultation is absolutely free. We don't charge any fees. Don't take any credit card up front. And I know, again, I'm emphasizing it's too good to be true, but it's out there. If you qualify,
I was wondering that now people would think that what's in it for you? Why are you giving out free consultations?
Means it's business for me. I do mortgages, of course. To be very transparent, when you do the loans with us, I get paid on that loan. That's how I pay for this webinar, I pay for the show. But means when I facilitate your loan, that's how I get paid. Getting you the grant, it's just a service. I feel, again, 27 years, it's money out there. And just think about it. If your income is 80% of the median income of that county, you and your family deserve that $25,000 grant. I really mean it. I really mean it. So if I can be of any help, I'll be more than happy to help you guys. No emotional BS. This is a fact. That's how I feel. And that's why I'm sharing this with you.
Now, there's one important question out there, that are there any deadlines for the usage of this
Any
grant?
deadlines
for the usage of this grant?
Once you qualify, you can't use the grant. It's not like you have to find a house, qualify for loan, and use the grant. You cannot say, okay, like this gentleman, I'm again giving you the example. We have a family who's actively looking for a home. Now, let's say he or they find they find a house in May or April. They qualified in January for the grant. We approved them for the grant, but the housing authority, they run out of the funds. Then bad luck. It's always first come, first serve. My in-laws, my family does not get preference over it. So it's always going to be first come, first serve. So when you are ready to make that move, you qualify for the loan, you qualify for the home. Once you know that, you need to start looking for a home.
All right. So there's one more question that says, what specific lenders or any financial institutions that are approved to process this grant?
But that means, honestly, like I said, every bank you will have to call them and find out if they participate in this program. Like I know we at Brazos Bank participate. I don't know which other banks. We don't have information to that bank about other banks. So whenever you try to find out, you'll have to Google it, talk to the bank and see, hey, what kind of down payment assistance do you participate in? Some banks completely don't, and some banks do. So it's always going to be case by case basis, bank by bank. Sorry, I want to be clear. It's always going to be, if they qualify, they might be participating in other down payment assistance program. So I am not aware of which other bank participate in this program.
All right. So with this, we are wrapping up our questions. I'm just including this one last question that we have here. And then there are some comments for you that I'm going to include. But the last question says that now they have understood that total family income has to be counted to qualify. But what about the liabilities? Is it just for primary borrower or for all households?
One of the best questions. So I'm glad people are listening to my show. At least So yes, great question. I really mean it. No, the answer is we just look at the household income, but we will not look at the liabilities of those non-participating borrowers. So like I said, a best example is family of 4 and family of 6, including their mother-in-law, father-in-law, or their own parents living with them. We will look at parents' social security income, but we will not count their liabilities. So that's the good news. So we just add, but the income. Now, please try to differentiate. This is a very important point. We will only count the income of the non-borrowing family members for the grant. We will not add that income to qualify for the loan. I'll repeat what I just said. We are just going to use that additional supplemental income or additional family members' income to make sure the household income is under that 80% median income of the county. But we are not going to take that income to qualify for the loan unless they want to be part of the loan. Do I make sense?
Yes. So with this, our session comes to an end. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. We have some appreciations for you as well, Hussein. There's one person saying, thanks, Hussein. My office friend told me about you and he was very happy with your service. So probably you have helped him. And then we have, good job, Hussein, always learning something new. Your service to the community is much appreciated. Thanks.
Thank you so much. And again, before I always forget, but thank you for always getting this together, putting this together, and I sincerely appreciate for hosting us. So thank you for organizing this.
My pleasure. I am also learning so much from you. That's my pleasure, sir. So thank you, everyone, for joining us. If you want to reach out to us, our information is available in the chat box. You can call us at 972-245-5626. Or you can email us at info@dreamhomemortgage.com. You can book a free Calendly session, a consultation session with us. All you need to do is you have to go to our website, www.dreamhomemortgage.com, and you can book a free session with Hussein for consultation. So if you are ready to take the first step, this is your chance. And I hope that we have answered all your questions and inspired you to take this next step towards owning your home. So, Hussein, any final words?
No, guys, ladies and gentlemen, once again, make 25 the year of becoming a homeowner. I honestly believe that every family can become a homeowner. They have to plan towards it. Whether you are planning to buy a $200,000 home or a $400,000 home, you need to have a plan and then execute it. So make your plans, make this 225 a year for you and your family, that yes, we'll become owners. Instead of renting a place, we'll be owning our home, and avail our service. The consultation is absolutely free.
All right. So thank you again for joining us, and we are here to help you every step of the way. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you at the closing table. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us once again. Have a great day. Have a beautiful day. Thank you, guys.